Nothing to do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Inside the Mirror podcast. I'm super excited for this conversation. I think I say that every time, but that's because all the conversations are exciting. Today I have with me Edwige Gilbert, who I'm going to let her share most of it, but she has quite a lot to share. She's been on TV shows and magazines, decades of experience helping people. So Edwige, I won't tell your story, but I'm going to let you kind of get into it. Give us kind of like the rundown of your story and give us the background.
Okay. Thank you, Kyle, for inviting me today. I love your energy and your excitement and passion. I can feel it. So my story began in France, and my parents were seeking fortune coming to America, right? Mm-hmm. That was the days in the 50s. And so as they came here, they realized life was tough. Mm-hmm. And they had me as a little baby. So they figured maybe while we make our way up, we're going to give her to stay with her grandmother. Mm-hmm. And that's what happened. I was transported to France and was raised by grandmother. Okay. And grandmother saw me as this fragile little child who needed protection. Mm-hmm. So every time I wanted to be excited about trying something new, she would stop me and say, "You can't," and will do it for me. Mm-hmm. So Kyle, imagine what happened to me growing up. I was very insecure, shy, and confused. Mm-hmm. And then later on, I joined my parents when I was 20 in New York, the Big Apple. Mm-hmm. And that's when my world collapsed. Grandmother was gone to protect me, but she left me with the voice inside my head. Mm-hmm. And every time I wanted to figure something out in New York, I could hear this, "You can't." So what do you do when you're stressed like that? There are many options for people. Mm-hmm. I began to take refuge in bagels and brownies. Not something I recommend you try, but you know,
it could be worse.
It was keeping my feelings down, right? Sure. Numbing me with sugar and carbs. Mm-hmm. And so what happened to me, being French, you know, women don't get fat. There was a book written on this story. Really? I gained weight. Uh-huh. And it never had happened to me in my entire existence. Mm-hmm. So now I'm 35 pounds heavier after being a model in my country. And I just knew I had to find a way out. And the way out was not dieting. It was going on a quest to find myself and get rid of the voice, which I did with all the courses I began to take, especially neuro-linguistic programming. And I realized, wait a minute, this is not my voice. So it began the journey of transforming my life. And then after I realized all the tools that I use to transform my life, I decided to teach, and I began teaching yoga because that was one of the experience I had. So I became a yoga teacher. Then I became a counselor in substance abuse, and I worked for the most prominent New York City Addiction Institute, equivalent of the Betty Ford Clinic.
Really?
And yes, and all my tools, I tested them on this population. And I saved many lives as a result.
I love it.
And then I met this agent, literary agent, on one of my retreats that I would give to help women lose weight, transform their stress into strength. And she said, "When you're ready, I want you to represent you, write a book." So I published my first book that was now 15 years ago, called The Fresh Start Promise. Yes.
What was it called?
Fresh Start. It's still
Fresh Start.
Fresh Start Promise. 28 days, transform mind, body, and spirit.
Huh.
And as 1 year ago, during the COVID, I'm now involved with being in Florida with a nonprofit called Movies Making a Difference, bringing awareness to human trafficking.
Oh.
And I became a counselor for the victims of human trafficking. And she asked me, could you write a little workbook for those, my people? So I have now a book called Victim to Victorious.
Oh. You have a lot going
So-
on.
And so I believe in the power of transforming our life.
Right. Right.
Right, Kyle? You
Yeah.
understand that. But
Sure.
we need to start with awareness.
Yeah.
Am I happy? Am I confused? What am I feeling?
Right.
And it's hard for people to make that shift to looking inside their mirror.
Yeah. Oh, I love that reference there. Thanks for sharing that. So a little part of my story, as you said that, is I spent many years, I had a bad addiction. I was an alcoholic for a long time. And then I was a drug user after that. One thing led to another. So I've also had quite a journey. So when you say that, I can relate. What have you found to be the most effective if someone came to you and said, I'm lost, I don't know what I'm feeling, but I know that I need to dive deeper into myself and what I'm feeling, who I am. I'm confused, right? Like you were, as you said. What have you found to be the most effective place to start?
Okay. And it's not about discussing. It's not about letting it down, tell me more about how they feel. I want them to have an experience of peace. And I will begin with mindfulness meditation. And it's not like sit and close your eyes. And no, it's guiding them to reconnect to the senses, to your body, to being in this moment now, just like you and me sitting and aware of my arms, aware. And the moment you can do this work, which is the most powerful work, you begin to realize that you are in control of the story you tell yourself, or the voices, because once you realize you can quiet the voices, you become aware that you are not the voices. You are not your behavior. You are this feeling, this experience of calmness. It was for me, my first step on this journey was meditation, was going to a retreat in the Bahamas. And the moment I felt the calmness around me, and all these people already were tuning into yoga, meditation, I realized that there was a safe place within. And I think that nobody knows what that means, safe place within. They think the safe place, like I felt, was in food, like you felt, was in drugs, because we are meant to feel good. We are meant to feel peaceful. And the issue we have as human, nobody tells us, gives us a manual how to feel calm and regulate our emotions. And we have them. I mean, things happen, COVID happened, right? Fear, people you lose in your life. And here you are, what do? You go with the triggers, the reaction, and you give up, and you have scenario in your head. Nothing good happens to me. I know. Why would I bother to try a new way? And you sabotage yourself with this voice. So the first step is this calmness, and then starting to pay attention to what is going on inside. How many times do you say I should? How many times do you say I'm an idiot? And I can't. So that was the journey. The moment I stopped and I was counting them every day. Oh, 1, 2. And then I started decreasing the numbers of the I can't. And every time I would put a stop sign and go, boom, I can't. I can't. And the voice, my voice, began to be louder than the other voice. And after a while, you are scrambling the programming.
Uh-huh.
And it became, I can't.
I
And
love it.
now I rarely hear. And if I hear it, I
Mhm.
stop and pay attention to this,
Mhm.
because I can't is the worst place to be. You
Yes.
agree?
Yeah,
It's paralysis.
it's a lie, right? The statement "I can't" is untrue, right? Unless you make it true. I was listening to a podcast actually last night, and this gentleman was talking about the power of the words that you speak over yourself,
Thank you.
right? When he said you can't let even those words come out of your mouth because you believe them, because they came from you, even if it wasn't your own voice, it was programmed into you, right?
Yes.
We live in a culture. I would be curious your thoughts on this, because I look around at the world and culture, and we're so infatuated with, like you had referenced earlier, comparing ourselves and what does success look like, and why am I not good enough? Do you think that we're doing folks a disservice by the way culture is just perpetuating this idea that you're never good enough?
Completely. And worse than ever now with all the social media,
Mhm.
especially for women, it's all about the appearance.
Yeah.
It's all about looking like the butts of Kardashian and the lips of, I have no idea.
Yep.
But it's no longer focusing on you, but not narcissistically, of
Yeah.
you with your talents, with your gift, with being tall, being thin, being big, doesn't matter,
Yeah.
but doing the best with what you got.
Mhm.
Okay. And I'm not saying being fat is the answer. I know now it's accepted and it's okay,
Mhm.
as long as it's not giving permission to people to not do the work.
Mhm.
You know, like, hey, I'm
Yeah.
fat, so who cares? But are you really healthy? I don't care how big you are. I'm caring about your health.
Mhm.
And I have a hard time believing those two go hand in hand.
Yeah, sure.
So there are limits to self-acceptance. It has to be taking charge of your life and being aware.
Mhm.
Am I happy? Am I content? And we're not talking about shopping.
Yeah.
That's not the happiness. I'm thinking about joie de vivre, joy of life. I mean, do you find moments every day where you can be connected to the environment? Are you finding a moment like you and me having a conversation where it is from the heart?
Mhm.
It's not from what he wants me to tell him that would make me look good. No, it's your truth, your spontaneity,
Mhm.
which we're losing because people have scripts now, right?
Mhm.
We have
Yeah.
scripts.
Sure.
And being in my now aging, women aging,
Mhm.
it's also a game that we play, pretending. How old are you pretending to be today?
Mhm.
You know, hard for women to come out and say, hey, I'm in my 60s. Oh my God, you know.
Mhm.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah, it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
I'm too old to attract anything or any man. My life, because you're angry, because you give up on yourself. People give up on themselves, and there is no expiration date for purpose.
Hmm.
Now, if you don't know your purpose, then you have no compass.
Oh.
We all have a purpose. Yes, Kyle?
Oh man, yeah, you said two things there that were powerful. You said that there's no expiration date on your purpose. That's incredible. That I think people need to hear that more than ever, right? Because again, we do have we put these limits on ourselves of, you must be married by 30 and retire by 50 and all these things that are like, and I'm looking out at the world, I'm like, well, who made that rule? Like, why do we buy into these? Do, what have you found and experienced when it comes to healing and growing in community with other folks? Because I think it seems that we continue to live in a more isolated world. Even after COVID, people are more isolated from people. What would you say is the importance of community in all of this?
it's sharing the truth with each other. And I think now we are in this era of the Aquarius instead of the Pisces. I am a Pisces as a sign. So the Pisces is all about sacrifice, in service to the world, you know, which is fine. But now the Aquarius is about connecting, fraternity, brotherhood, making a world a better place. And I think that's the time for you and me, for podcasts, for messages to be loud and clear. But there are confusion. People are still confused about what am I supposed to follow? Follow your heart, but how do you find that? By quieting your mind, right? We're going back to the same thing. There is no escape. When I tell, they ask me, so what do you do to stay? I tell them and they go, oh, this is a lot of work. I'm thinking, aren't you worth the work? I mean, you have gifts and talents you came with. Are they meant to be wasted because you don't feel worthy of sharing them with the world? It's pretty sad that people have this very, I don't know what's happening to society, but I'm concerned like you are.
I am too.
People are more and more into consumption and the latest gadget, the latest sneakers, the latest iPhone, the latest, and it's all technology. It's the phone. Nobody texting. Nobody really talk. Communicate. And I was listening about this nonviolent communication on the podcast, how it is about stating, not attacking, listening, hearing the other point of view, and welcoming it. Yes.
That you're preaching to me, because what you said there is, I think it is so important, right? Is that we're again, well, I guess I'll say this. It seems like to your point about consumerism, it seems like we have this curse of prosperity. Like the more comfortable life is and the more things we have, it actually becomes the reverse, to where it's actually more of a curse, because those are the things we now put worth and value in versus ourselves, you know?
Yes.
I think this, though, this is a thought, and I'm curious what you think. I do think the opportunity, when the world gets darker, as it seems to me right now, it's become a darker place. It does. I do think, though, I'm kind of a positive thinker. I think that that's an opportunity for lights like you and I and others that think this way to shine brighter, right? People need it more than ever.
Yes.
How have you found the way to get to people, right? You've written some books and done media.
And I keep sharing. I go to New York, I have circles. Now my focus is always transforming the negative into positive. I'm not coming from the place of positive thinking. You know, there was a time where you have to be positive. No, you cannot do that. You need to be in touch with how you feel. Step one, through the mindfulness. Step two, knowing, believing, having the tools that you're not stuck there. Because when people start feeling like, oh, I'm depressed, it's not I am depressed. It's I have a situation that creates this feeling. Do you see when I say those words, how now I'm able to be detached and objective and able to take charge? So what we've lost is the power to take charge of ourselves. We gave away our power to what others believe we need to be, according to how they see us. And then we carry the mask and we act the way they see us. I mean, since I'm in this country, I have been seen as this French woman, and for American men was like that sexy Brigitte Bardot. And I was not understanding that, you know. I would kiss on the cheek, because this is what we do in my country. Is you meet somebody, like after maybe having this conversation, we feel close.
Mhm.
We go, okay, I'm so glad I met you, and I kiss you here and there. So when I would meet people in this country, I would feel free, if I like them, to acknowledge them. But they thought it was an offer for more.
Oh, yeah.
So the language, that the communication is critical today. And I feel that more than ever, people don't know how to talk to each other. Either they accuse, they judge, and they create this defensiveness. And now there is no way we can share. Do you know? Because we've been shut down, and we become argumentative and upset about people, and the door closed, and that's it. We're disconnected. So the journey is really to first on you, first to not to find solution with the other one, because your solution has to be found here, right? Start to be your inner coach, not the inner critic. Start to make the list of how many times I say I can't, how many times I say I should. That's not a good one either. How many times I say I have to. The moment I say I have to, for me, I feel this tension everywhere, that I have no choice. Now I'm a prisoner. And then the mind kicks in and says, no, you're not. Yeah, it's exit. So where do I exit? Well, that's when people say, the hell, I'm going to drink. I don't care about what happened. And people are constantly in the reaction mode instead of the response with the situation, which takes training.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you must have heard about this guy, which to me is a new person on the block. He wrote Think Like a Monk. You help me with that?
I've heard of it.
He's incredible because he studied 3 years with monks. And he
what was his name? Do you remember his name? I heard it recently.
Oh, he's wonderful.
We're both blanking. It's okay.
It's like you. It's like, how old are you? 30 something?
35.
He's your age. This guy is remarkable. And he says, just pay attention how your mind tricks you. And our mind tricks us if we are not aware. Awareness. And the awareness is to quiet down. And I have designed, due to being in a rehab and seeing those people suffering for 28 days, because now, I mean, I'm sure you went through your suffering too, when you stopped drinking and drugging, because your whole brain, all your chemicals are totally gone, right? The good feeling chemical has been abused and used. So I had to find for those people, not just talking to them and say, you can do it. It's like giving them a centerpiece. And so I invented, as I research and study so many things for over 30 years, it's called Dextra. And it's on my website. People can download it. It's a sample of my 5 fingers technique. So the thumb represents anxiety. And that's why people tend to pick on their nails, and kids put their thumb in their mouth, right? So the opposite, again, I work from transforming stress. So from anxiety, you move to calmness. And there is a sound that you do, which is like, then you hold your finger wrapping your left thumb, and then you declare, I choose to be calm. I'm worthy of feeling calm. So now you using words that create feelings, right? I desire to be calm. And then you finish with, I believe I can. And so you'd go through each finger. This is fear finger. This is anger finger. It's funny. So I designed that, and anytime those people were thinking about their drugs, alcohol, right, they would kind of grab a finger. While you do that, you interrupt, right, the reaction, the craving,
Yeah.
Remember the wave of craving if you want
Oh my gosh.
passes to a next, but you
Oh
need to
yeah.
be busy during that time.
Mhm.
And to say, I'm not going to do anything, you're focusing on the pain. I give you a tool to make you feel better, and you realize, wow, I did too good. I felt better and escaped the relapse.
Yeah. That's power. I love that approach. That's so good. The pattern interrupt of the thoughts. And you even mentioned it earlier about capturing your thoughts and being aware of them, and then being able to, because I think, right, maybe you would agree that you have to capture it and then you have to have a strategy to change it, right?
Yeah.
When
Thank
I
you.
was,
Yeah,
yeah,
you can't stay with, I am miserable, I'm miserable, because the problem here, the challenge is that when you focus on expense,
right,
and becomes your reality.
right.
So we're not telling you to expand, because you will never win over your mind. Your mind
Yeah.
will always, the mind wants to take you away from pain,
Mhm.
painful moments, into pleasure. This is what the mind does. This is his part. I mean, it's wonderful at times when you burn yourself, take your finger away, because that's painful. But in times of like the drugs or the drinking and the thought of, yay, I know how I would feel, because you have no reference point how you naturally could feel. Now, that takes work, but not the work you think. It's not willpower. That doesn't last too long. It's your power, your empowerment, right?
Sure.
And getting to feed into the power that you have to control your mind, because it is really a high, if we can use that word, to be able to say no. What a powerful word to say no. I say yes to me. I say no. I don't need this. This is taking away my power. I am worthy of, right, being powerful. Powerful. And I think people don't know how to be powerful. So, and they don't even know they can. Again, the belief system. So you have to reinstate a belief through an experience, because I could tell you, you're the most amazing man I ever met. If you don't believe it, I wasted my time and you didn't change, right?
Yeah.
So we need to have the experience of the belief. We need to adapt to our life. So
I love that. I love the idea of experiencing the belief, because I think we live in a world where we, like you said, we tell people nice things, but we don't really know how to help them believe it, right? We think we're coming alongside and helping, but we're just saying things. And really what you said is the better approach is to come alongside someone and have tactics and approaches that can help them understand and believe the words, instead of just giving them words. Give them the experience of belief. That's incredible.
Do you know that I came across this definition that changed my life? The definition of the belief is just a thought that you keep repeating. It's a thought you hold to be true because you keep repeating it, it becomes true. So that means my thought of I couldn't was repeated so many times over the years, it became me. But it's a thought. So because people go, but I believe, you don't understand. I go, do you know what belief is? It's belief. You don't even know what it is. Once you are taking it apart, you'll go, it has no power over you. It's a thought. How many thoughts do we have a day? 60,000. That's hard for me to accept that, but supposedly it was count. So do I believe 60,000 thoughts a day? Why are you holding on to this one? Does it serve you or sabotage you? And this is in my book, those serve, sabotage. I don't want, see again, how do we go from sabotage to serve? Well, we change the words we say, right? We're going to quiet the mind. I have a process also available on my website, calm, centered, connected. We need to address the three.
Mhm.
And you calm your mind. You picture like a lake, lake mind, like all the thoughts drop to the bottom, boom. And then you have this peace in the mind. Then you center, because if your body is balanced, shoulders, right, you can find your center. And the center to me is my belly.
Mhm.
That is why I lost my weight and never gained it back, because your center is your chakra, the third chakra, right? Navel. That's your stomach. So it's a power center. It's the center that say, I can. So now when you eat and numb this place, how can you connect to your power?
Mhm.
So when I started connecting these thoughts that over time, because it takes time, right, to
Sure.
develop any new behavior, it became my truth. It became my belief. And then does that work for me? Of course, because I never worry about my weight. How many women go, oh, you must be dieting? Like, no, my brain is programmed to keep me at this weight because I'm worthy of looking good, feeling good, looking good, because it's connected.
Mhm.
The first impression I have of you is you. It's your envelope.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know you, but I
Yeah.
see. So if I see somebody who doesn't take care or neglect themselves, I make a belief. I develop a thought, right?
Mhm.
That
Sure.
will cloud my judgment, maybe. But you are part of the image, Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you say, who cares how I look? It does matter. It's like making
Oh,
your
yeah.
bed in the morning.
Right.
It's dressing you, it's brushing your teeth.
Right.
You matter.
Right.
You've been given this body. You need to make the best out of it, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a car. It's your car that you have
Mhm.
to use.
I've heard that said. I really love that. I've heard it said that this is the vessel that you travel through life in, and you
Yes.
need to care for it.
Yes.
And you're like you were even saying, it sounds like the external is really just a representation of what you're thinking internally, and so you can see almost a representation of how people think by the
Yes.
way that you assess the external, right?
Yes, the way they dress, and even like the eyes, are they alive or
Yeah.
they like they are not there because the emotion is not connected. There's no emotion. Emotion is energy that moves. The only thing I would feel from somebody who was like this is depression, like the motion is totally stopped. And what I see missing is passion for life. Passion is hard to find. It takes time to, what am I good at? What make me feel good? And I mean, you can't just ask somebody, what do you think my passion is? No, it's your journey to find it. And I realized with my years and my age that at one point I got stuck with it. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe my age. And I thought, wait a minute, all the 8 years of experience I have now help me say things, be the way I am, because of all the years that went by. I wouldn't be able to talk to you now the way I would talk to you 20 years ago.
Sure.
I don't think I would be that person.
Right.
And you will see through the decades how you will refine, you will expand, you will develop. I mean, I'm not saying you're going to be totally different, but you're going to mature, mature in who you are.
Right.
But it takes that you reflect and ask questions. Why am I doing this? My intention. I love intent, the power of intention, right? You get up in the morning. What is my intention today? Some people wake up and go, another day, same old, same old. It's like, no. You move. There was this famous, I think, yogi statement. you never encounter the river the same way twice, because every time you enter a river, you are different. And I'm different this morning than I was last night, and you are too. Dreams you had, thoughts about the day, thoughts about events. I don't know, we constantly change. And the passion needs to be with compassion, right?
Ooh. That's a great place to land. Passion starts with compassion.
You need to have the compassion with the other. Share your passion and help them find or strengthen their passion, because passion is life. It's joie de vivre. And I don't care what you do, but if you do it without that, well, ask yourself why and do something else.
That's so good. The last thing I'll say is that I noticed you said something all throughout this conversation that I would like to end on and hear your last thoughts on. You said this, I don't know, maybe 10 times. You said you are worthy.
Yes. Thank you.
And I just think that's so powerful, even in my own life, of constantly trying to remind myself that I am enough regardless of what I do. Just who I am is okay.
You are enough. And this is a good statement, because we all feel we're never good enough. That's why people keep trying, keep accumulating and trying to prove to others who they are. And I think once we stopped trying, and because we feel we're good enough and we don't have to do anything. And that was a workshop that changed my life, because they gave me this, you're good enough. And I thought, you being is good enough. Being, it's like, and I thought in those days, if I don't do anything, nobody will, I'll be invisible, I'll disappear. But your being is you, and your doing is tough. But withdraw the doing, you are radiating, you shine. And the energy is what we feel from people. Do you believe that? I mean,
100%.
Their presence. And the presence is, if they are present to themselves, you feel them. If they are talking from the intellect, I am not going to tune in with you. And I have to tell you that today, my podcast experience is so wonderful, because I'm tuning in. I see your cat.
See my cat.
Oh, it's so cute. He's tuning into the energy. Animals feel energy, by the way.
Yeah, I can tell with my cat all the time.
Right? He wants
it's
to
wild.
be part of what's going on, because he feels good about you right now. But our podcast is just wonderful, because we are wonderful together. And so we are expanding on this truth to each other, and hopefully to those who tune in and hear our truths, and that, yes, you can do it. And I always like to finish with, I can, I do, I will. I stay committed to the purpose. Victory to me. If you start saying victory to everything you do, at the end of the night, I say victory to me. I count my victories, not my defeats. That's what people do. And victory to me, and your arms up in the air. And anytime you do that, you in seconds shift your energy, right? I mean, Tony Robbins is the master of that.
Oh, sure.
I studied with him with neuro-linguistics. He said, you're on the left side, you're on the stage in a circle, and you think thoughts of sadness and nothing is working in my life. And then you go to the right circle and you look up, and I say victory to me, and you connect to what it means, you feel good. Seconds to change your mind. People think it's going to take forever. No, it's your behavior, your thought pattern, and your awareness, because if you don't know, of course you can't do anything. So become aware, ask, what am I feeling? What's my purpose? Why am I saying that? is it really what I want to say? Or it's because I'm afraid to say who I am and be heard and loved. We all look for love at the end of the journey. We all want to be accepted and loved. And that's a secret. It's to be unconditional with each other.
I love
and
it.
let go of judgment.
Yeah.
I'm not judging you. I want to embrace you.
Yeah.
And stop putting judgments on people. And
Yeah.
so I think we have something together that we can help the world in the future. I really
I agree.
Yes.
I agree. This was an excellent conversation. If you're listening and you got anything out of this, please send me a message. Let me know how you're impacted by this. And remember, please remember the words, you are enough. You are enough. You're worthy just by being you, right? You don't have to do anything to prove anything to anyone. Edwige, where can folks go to find your resources, your website?
Thank you. New Life Directions.
New Life Directions.
.com. And go on my contact page and you will download the meditation, the mindfulness, and the beginning of the journey to calm down. And then the sample of changing your emotion to regulate your emotions. And you contact me there and call me and let's have a conversation, and I'd love to help you. What I do a lot is recording, MP3 recording, based on the story you want instead of the story you have. And it's like 15 minutes to 20 minutes recording that I encourage you to hear every day, because it takes 28 days to create a neural pathway connected to your behavior, a new behavior. So once you have that supports you, and it's customized for you with your name, with your passwords that are just for you, that I will Zoom with you and test you. You work on this for 28 days and people have had amazing experience transforming their life because you work subconsciously. And that's how really we need to repattern that part of the brain that is not so healthy for us. So that's what I'm offering. And future, I'm going to have trips and Zoom and all kind of training, because it takes time to get in the groove, right? We know that.
Sure.
So we need to assist people in the groove. At least I need 4 sessions. It's the 28-day program to assist you, to guide you, and to get you to being on your own. You know, like now you have the tools. Just go on this journey. And I'm still there, but I let go of your hand, you know? We need a hand to start the journey. You cannot do it alone. I had many hands. And I can count them because I couldn't have done it with a book. Book doesn't do anything. It stays here. It's like, oh, that was good, but I can't do it. Because you need help. You need somebody you trust, somebody you can talk to, somebody who won't judge you. And help you feel special, because we all are. So that's easy enough.
We all need each other, right? We are not made to be alone. And so everything you're doing is so powerful. Thank you for coming on here and sharing with me. This was incredible. I love your passion. I love your heart. And I love, again, what you said.
And order the book on Amazon.
What's the name of the book again?
So go on my name. It's easier right now. We have a little glitch in finding. The book is Victim to Victorious. And it's just 90. And it has all the techniques that I'm sharing. And it's really a workbook. The other one is more of a analytical story. But this one is like, get you to do the work, you know.
Love it. Okay. So, Victim to Victorious. And also newlifedirection.com, right?
Yes, we'll have the book there to order, so that's easier.
Beautiful. Well, folks, thanks again. This was an excellent conversation. This is another episode of Inside the Mirror podcast. If we can be helpful in any way, please reach out to either one of us. Edwige, thank you again for your conversation. This was amazing.
Me too.
All right. Have an excellent day.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.